Welcome to Wisdom for the Wilderness, a podcast from the pastors of Overland Church, where we talk about the Bible, theology, current issues, and sadly, this is our last episode together. I'm sure you'll come on at some point in the future, but this is our last episode together in
with
this
me,
format.
Yeah, with me as a pastor.
That's right. That's right. So this is the beginning of June as this is coming out, and by the end of June, it'll be the end of your time at Overland, which we talked about that transition on another show, another episode. But what I wanted to do for our last episode together is really just talk about the story of Overland Church, the history behind it, so that we could just kind of get down for, generations, how this all happened and how there was once no Overland Church and now there is an Overland Church. So you up for that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Happy to talk about it. Try not to cry.
All right. So you were born. No, we won't start back that far. Yeah. But so, you talked about this a little bit in the sermon where you were announcing to the church that you were transitioning away. But I'd love for you to kind of recount, where did this church planting journey begin for you?
Yeah. Obviously it began for me at Buck Run.
Yeah.
Buck Run was a church that was started in 1818. And the founding pastor of Overland Church was a man named...
Of Buck Run.
Of Buck Run.
Yeah.
It was a man named John Taylor. And he planted 10 churches across central Kentucky.
Okay.
And, I began to really read about the history of Buck Run and was, man, isn't that incredible that there was 10 churches, and here 200 years later, because of the faithfulness of John Taylor, you see the gospel still going forward. And I really got an appreciation for church planting. And, often people don't think about where a church comes from. How does it start? Where does it come from? I told a story in that sermon about Gabe Sloan texting Greg Gibson and I saying, hey, we ought to read this book, Church Planter by Darren Patrick, together. And my quick reply back was, I'm not reading it. I'm not planting a church, And I joke and say that's like really was the moment in which the Lord started turning my heart. But in that, I was leading missions, and we went up to Indianapolis, and we were helping a church planter up there, and I saw this dude didn't know what he was doing. It's like, this dude's trying to start this church, and he has no clue how a church operates.
Yeah.
What is this to do? And I felt compassion for him and began to partner and try to help church planters. And that's just kind of where it got on my radar.
Yeah. Is that church around today, or do you know?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Actually, I do know it's not around.
Okay.
There's a different church in that building, but that guy is not around. And so, start asking the question, how do churches start? And begin thinking about it and reading through it. And I began asking the question about what's next for our family. What's next?
At the time you were at Buck Run, still student pastor?
Yeah, I was still student. I was still student pastor, and I loved student ministry. I'd go back and do student ministry. Student ministry would be on the table for me.
Yeah.
But there was an age with my children, really, where I was like, all right, I'm going to miss a ton of their childhood if I stay in this role. So what's next? And begin praying through and asking God, what do you want me to do? And really, I ended up on church planting. A lot of people kind of ended up because it's like a cool, hip, in thing. I'm typically adverse to cool. If something's cool, I'm not doing something because it's cool. Yeah. I always say what's cool today won't be cool tomorrow. What's cool tomorrow won't be cool, But what's true today, be true tomorrow.
Yeah.
Be true forever.
And just for people who live now, or some of our younger listeners who didn't live through this era, like the 2010s was like the
hard push.
the pinnacle of the church planting, like it was really cool, really great. You had Acts 29 was going strong.
Yeah.
You had Sin Network started in the Southern Baptist Convention. And so it was on the forefront. And a lot of our peers went into church planting. Some of them, hopefully a lot of them for good reasons, but sometimes it was like, oh, well, there's a lot of problems.
Yeah, a lot of people planted churches, but it was like, the church is doing it wrong. I'm going to go do it right.
Yeah.
And I was coming from a church that I thought was doing it pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what they do really well. They love Jesus and they love each other.
Yeah.
They do those two things really, really well. They reach the lost, they make disciples.
Yeah.
But, they love Jesus and they love each other. So, to me, it was about going, we were praying through, do we go overseas?
Mm-hmm.
Do we stay here? Like there was, anything was on the table. And so finally, the Lord was putting church planting on our heart, my heart, I should say my heart, because it wasn't on Jennifer's heart yet. It was in my heart. And then after kind of Jennifer got on board, we began praying through where. And, one of the main things was I wanted to be out of the Bible Belt.
Right.
The first step of evangelism in the Bible Belt is convincing someone they're not a Christian. And I wanted to be out of the Bible Belt, so we were looking, outside of the South.
Yeah.
I just want to put a little caveat to say, I know some of you are thinking, well, why are you leaving and going back to the Bible Belt? Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah, South Florida is not the Bible Belt.
South Florida is not the Bible Belt. We're within a couple hours of the Bible Belt, but South Florida is not the Bible Belt. And two, I would go back to the Bible Belt at this point in my life, but it would be for a different set of convictions and reasons.
I think it's important for people to see too, like the need is greater outside of the Bible Belt, but there's also pockets of need within the Bible Belt.
Huge needs within the Bible Belt. So
you take, for example, Nashville, that is growing hand over fist.
Yeah.
Or Atlanta, or some of these huge metro areas need new churches because the current church,
they're dying.
They're dying, and then there's
enough
new neighborhoods just like here,
right,
popping up out of nothing, and there's no churches there. So.
Right.
There is some need there as well.
But definitely not the same level of
right.
Need. So we said, okay, we're going to be outside of the Bible Belt. Where do we go? Mm-hmm. Basically decided we want to be west of the Mississippi.
Yep.
Where do we go? Decided we wanted to be in the Mountain West. Where do we go?
Was there this like Urim and Thummim, okay.
Yeah, basically.
We're taking this clan and then this
but we had a connection. We had come and visited Arapahoe Road Baptist Church, and I had been out a few times. I'd been to Denver, didn't like Denver.
Yeah.
Still don't like Denver. That's not changed at all.
No.
I don't want to go any farther south than Cabela's.
Yes. Yes.
Or like that is like as far south as I want to go. Particularly don't like to do that, but with Bass Pro Con up here, I wouldn't have needed to. But
I know.
Anyway, Shills pretty much has me covered. But so we just began praying through where landed on Colorado. Wanted to be in a college town.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of my ministry and a conviction I have and strategy that I have. Wanted to be in a college town, and Fort Collins is just the best college town in Colorado, and there's not a close second.
That's right.
Boulder is the spiritually darkest place in Colorado, but I'm.
You're not a Boulder person.
I'm not a Boulder person.
Yeah.
Every time I go to Boulder, I'm afraid I'm gonna get kicked out. So not a Boulder person. Really thought we could connect well.
Yeah.
In Fort Collins, thought we could make obviously you've got a lot of Western Slope and Eastern Plains. Thought we could connect there. Thought we could make the jump to the Front Range folks easy enough.
Yeah.
And so we decided on Fort Collins. So we moved. We knew we were coming, but we kept it super quiet.
Yeah.
And didn't tell the church, super quiet, because I was executive pastor leading through this building campaign. And like I mentioned in that sermon, Herschel and I kind of came to an agreement on the front end that I would be the executive pastor, oversee this building and campus relocation, and after that, they would plant us out. So that was the agreement that we had on the front end. And so the second we told the church we were church planting, I would really lose a lot of my leadership ability in the eyes of people. That's just how it is. I knew that on May 3rd, as soon as I said, "Hey, I'm leaving," that a lot of people are like, "You're dead to me." You know, there's a reality to that.
Yeah.
What does it matter? You're not going to be here,
right,
when it comes to decision making. So we kept it super quiet. And then on our soft launch, it was the only time, Herschel would say, it was the only time in the history of Buck Run he's told people, do not invite anybody to church on this one Sunday.
Okay.
Because we got to work out the kinks. We got to do.
Yeah.
But on that Sunday, our family came up and we told the church that we were leaving.
Do you remember what day that was? Or
I want to say it was like November 5th of 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, November 5th. Maybe it's possibly 6th, but it was that first Sunday in November in 2016.
Okay.
And it would have been time change Sunday. I mean, it was a big Sunday for us, but
election day.
Yeah, it wasn't election day, but we told them, and I remember it was, people couldn't believe it. Herschel had like for months been teeing up, like, you're going to see this isn't just about a building.
Yeah.
This is about the gospel and training up and equipping and sending people out. And it was to applause and tears at the same time. Like, all right, we're sending out a church planter. You know, Herschel would always say, you know, we're going to send out our best and our brightest. I laugh at that because I don't think I was the best or the brightest, but Jennifer, I guess, fits the bill. But Herschel would say that, and so then from really, Herschel's very very kind. We from that Sunday to the end of the year, we had like punch list kind of stuff to take care of the building.
Okay, and
then he really allowed me starting in January of 2017, to really begin putting together core team, to visiting, to fundraising, to helping with, you know, getting partner churches on board to help us plant. I got to travel around and make pitches to churches and you know, get partners. And you know, there are several churches that I would just tell you from the very beginning have been great partners. Wellington Bible Church in Lexington, Kentucky, Monument Point Fellowship in Jacksonville, Florida. From the very beginning, little churches, little country churches giving $100 a month, just faithfully bought in to the vision of planting a church out west. Obviously, Tri-Cities Baptist Church and Buck Run, huge, those two. And how their staffs have supported us, how they sent people, they sent mission teams from the beginning. Some of like Severe Heights is a later partner, but some of those are on from the very beginning. So then we kind of we got a core team. Obviously, the Sampsons put their yes on the table. They knew before we told the church.
Right.
I went to assessment before they
told the
church. By the way, in assessment, when you go to assessment, Brandon just went through assessment and he got what we call a green light, ready to plant.
Yeah.
When Buddy went through assessment, he got a green light, ready to plant.
What light did you get?
I got an orange light. And so an orange light, they don't have it anymore, but it was obviously between a yellow and a red light. They were like, this dude probably shouldn't plant a church. That's what they gave me. And they're like, yeah, he's probably not cut out to be a church planter. But I was like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. The Lord's called me to do it. I believe, and there's a reality. I mean, church planting's hard. There's different statistics out there, but like the reality is like 9 out of 10 church plants fail. I have a list in my phone of the number of church plants that did not make it out here.
Yeah.
And the Lord has been so gracious and so kind to help our church make it. So we had a team, and you know, obviously Buddy and Brooke.
Yeah.
There was another couple, Garrett and Leah Duff, that were going to be a part of it. Another couple, Matt and Amanda Dougherty, that Buddy and Brooke met in the airport going to South Korea to adopt Jude, and that couple was going to adopt Jude. Going to adopt their kid. And then there were a bunch of single folks. Kyle and Buckley Hancock. Even when I started, they weren't married, but by the time they moved here, they were married. They were a married couple. And of course, now Kyle and Buckley are in Durango.
Yeah.
And by the way, Kyle's getting ready to be. He's in the elder candidate process to be an elder in Durango. So that's really cool. Brian Cox, Alex Ballou, Rich Kemper. All these. By the way, none of those names.
Yeah, people who are here now don't know most of those names other than Buddy and Buckley
and Kyle.
Yeah.
So that was the team.
Yeah.
And we came.
So how many total was that, or about like 12?
Yeah, like adults, and then you've got kids.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got kids. You got the Sampson kids and the Thurman kids, and I would just tell you, they were the kids were a great part of the mission team. I mean, our kids served. Our kids invited people. Our kids did the things behind the scenes. Our kids cared for the building. I remember watching, some people tracked in mud, and there's John Owen back there's like a 4th or 5th grader getting up the mud out of the carpet that he had worked hard to lay.
Yeah.
With Dad, there's a care for the building, and there's a care for the things that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
Because they were a huge part in building the church and the whole process. They're part of the church planning team. They often enough our kids don't get credit. And man, you see it happen again when the Sampsons go to Durango. What a force their kids have been. Yeah. When the first thing they started was a student ministry. So they started a Trek before they started any sort of college service, and that was the plan was to start college, and they get down there and start a student ministry because their kids reach people. So Jennifer and I moved out in July of 2017. The very first.
So you announced in November 2016. You moved July 2017.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We sold our house.
Yep.
I'm going to tell this story real quick because
Okay.
I'm getting ready to do the exact same thing, praying that the Lord answers
the
prayers.
You need to remember the faithfulness of the
God.
Lord right now.
We needed to get top dollar for our house in Kentucky.
Yep.
And we needed as much equity as we could get to move out because we were moving to a really expensive market, we thought, at the time. And we weren't going to hire a realtor.
Yeah.
So I have the same situation then as now. Like in a church, when you got like a bunch of realtors in the church, how do you pick one?
Yes.
When you got when you're like one of your elk hunting partners a realtor, like everybody's a realtor.
Yes.
So how do you pick one? And so it was the same thing there. It's like who do I want to offend? You like get to make one person happy and a bunch of people mad. So we were going to sell our house, thinking that there'd be a realtor, a buying agent, and that they would walk through. And we just put it on Zillow. We get people to share it on Facebook. We get our house on. That's how we listed it. It wasn't on the MLS or anything like that. We're gonna have a showing on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. An hour before the open house, this dude just walks in our living room, and I'm like, "Hello." He goes, "I'm here for the open house." And he's like, "It was like it's not started yet. It's an hour away." He goes, "Well, can you just show me the house? I'm here already." Yeah. So he quickly just walks through our house, looks around, walks back upstairs, and goes, "I'll give you your asking price for it." And that didn't happen in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's you bid under $15,000, $20,000. I'll give you asking price for it right now. I said, okay. I'm like, do I do this or do I not do this?
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And he
goes,
goes,
I missed something?
He goes, do you have a contract? I went, no, I don't. I was thinking you'd bring your buyer's agent with you to buy the house. And he's like, go to Rocket Mortgage and whatever, and let's print one off. And like we had to print one off. We signed it. We came out here just like 2 or 3 days later. John Holston was our realtor here. John Holston's the elder at Calvary Severance now. He's really good dude. And we bought our house for under asking price.
Okay.
Out here, and our house is 0.6 of a mile from the church. We had no clue the Lord's sovereign plan in putting us.
Right.
So
because it was still Southside Baptist Church.
Southside Baptist Church.
You had no clue where Overland was going to be at and
right.
land.
No clue.
Yep.
The Lord was so kind in that, and so we threaded the needle. We moved from out there. A whole team of people from Buck Run basically took a mission trip and moved us out. And
yeah.
A lot of work to be done in our house, and they helped us. And then July 2017, we just said, we're going to have as many people in our house as possible.
Yeah.
We're going to meet people. We're trying to meet 100 people in 100 days. And the very first person we met was Michelle Edgerly, who's now at our church. And her and her family, it's so awesome that years later that she ended up there. And we just met and had people over, and we met skeptics and Muslims and Mormons and you name it. We just met everybody. And the Sampsons arrived in December of 2017, and other couples started arriving beginning in January. Kyle and Buckley were one of the last to get here in August
of 2018.
August of 2018. And then, our plan, we were hopeful to launch in the fall of 2018.
Yeah.
Just weren't there.
Yeah.
And so we had our first preview service in the Hilton Hotel right off of Prospect below campus.
Yep.
There were about 40 people there.
I've seen pictures of this.
Yeah, there's about 40 people there, a few college students. Our first college student was a kid named Ben Crawford. He was from Las Vegas. He showed up and he just served for years. He was awesome. Another young guy named Dylan McNamara. Okay. I think he was the first person that Buddy led to the Lord. He was Buddy's neighbor. There was a college house right beside Buddy. And Dylan ends up at that first preview service. Dylan's now wife at the time, her name was Krista. She worked in the Ramskeller at CSU's campus, and we found out she was a drummer. She went to Mill City, but we robbed her for our preview services because we needed a drummer. We had this killer female drummer.
Yeah.
Now check this out. So Dylan, Buddy led to the Lord, was baptized at Overland. Dylan works in Palm Beach Gardens now.
Oh wow!
And he and I were texting the other day, so I'm gonna be able to see Dylan on a regular basis. Dylan and Chris. So that's cool. That's really cool. We started there in that Hilton, right as school was starting. So we had a lot of preview services because we wanted to hit that one in August. We started a college ministry first, or at least tried to start a college ministry first. Ended up having a ton of international students, particularly because of one lady, Alex Ballou, just really gifted with internationals, and they were coming. Of course, all that changed after COVID.
Yeah.
But we went from like 35 or 40 at the first preview, and at the last preview, we were about 70 people.
Okay.
So we grew from like 35 to 70, and that was in
August to
January. We had a Christmas Eve service.
2019.
Yeah. And the last preview was actually in what we now call the lodge. Didn't look like a lodge then.
Yeah.
Before we moved in, where we started on January 27th to 29th, 2019.
Yeah. At some point, didn't you guys meet at Rocky?
We did. We tried out Rocky. Yeah. I think in November.
Yeah.
And it
Rocky Mountain High School for people around here.
Yeah. And it was it was good. I think we might have tried one other place. We were trying to figure out where we were going to meet.
What would be your regular spot?
And then in November, like the end of November of 2018, is when James Anderson, the associate pastor at Southside, came to me and said, he called me one night and said, "Hey, would you meet me for Chick-fil-A tomorrow?" And then said, we sat down. And he goes, "Well, our church is going to close our doors. Do you want our building?"
Yeah. And
it was just nonchalant as that. And I'm trying to play it cool. Yeah. I'm like, big old swallow, and like,
no, I'll have to look at it.
How much debt do you have? Yeah. And they're like, we have no debt, and we think we'll have about $10,000 in the bank.
Okay.
And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Now, there was one thing about the building at the time. There was supposed to be a cell phone tower that would be right, like where like our little cars park right beside it. It would have been right there, 50 by 50. This cell phone tower is like going to be a bell tower, actually taller than the steeple. It was going to look horrendous.
Oh, my goodness.
And they were supposed to start construction in January.
Yeah.
So,
which to a struggling church, that would have been a good income source.
$2,000 a month.
Yeah.
It was enough to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
But they also had a school, and the school was leaving because of the cell phone tower. So they were going to have 4,000 months income, but the school was like, we don't want our children. The cell phone tower is going to give our children cancer.
Yeah.
We're pulling out. So that tanked them.
Okay.
So they hand us the keys on December 30th of 2018. And, dude, we barely let them get out of the parking lot before Buddy and I started going. Like, we filled up. And we flipped that thing. We flipped the worship center in 5 rooms. We threw away 2 40-yard bins of trash.
Yeah.
You know, Buddy and I and our families were up there just nonstop for a month. I'm talking late nights, early mornings, mission teams. Like, it was wild. You know, we've done all the work inside that building ourselves, except for the polishing the floor. Essentially everything else. Maybe a little bit of carpet was laid, but then after they showed us how to lay it, we laid the rest.
Yeah.
The outside, obviously, the parking. There's some cool stuff on the outside of the building, but you know, primarily the outside of the building was mission teams and Donnie Sullivan painting it for his community service hours, which is another incredible story. So here's just one other really cool thing I'll tell you. The cell phone tower company, their contract expired it was like January 3rd it expired, and on January 4th they showed up to say, hey, we're going to start marking for construction. And I walk out and I'm saying, sorry guys, your contract has expired. We no longer want your cell phone tower.
Yeah.
And they went nuclear on me.
Goodness.
And you know, I have a friend that's a contract lawyer, and I got her to look over the contract, and she goes, I think you got a case, but it's going to take a lot of money to win it. And I said, I ain't not worried about it.
Yeah.
I said, man, the Lord's so in this thing. And so sure enough, 3 or 4 days go by, and the dude calls me back and goes, listen, if you don't want the cell phone tower, we're not going to put it in. Yeah. But we're not going to keep bugging you. We're going to bug you until you let us do it. And it took about 3 years for him to stop bugging me. But it wasn't that we were opposed to the cell phone tower. We were opposed to the placement of the cell phone tower. It just did not make any sense whatsoever.
Made it where there wouldn't be any ability to
expand the building. And they couldn't think of a reason that you would expand the building.
Yeah.
So we have our first service, and like I said, our last preview service was about 70 people.
Okay.
Our first preview service was 154.
Okay.
And so just a remarkable difference. And
so 70 people at your last preview service. Your first real service was
154.
Okay, 154.
And of course, there's a lot of out-of-town visitors. There's neighbors that showed up. You know, Sam and Kathleen Stevens walked in the door for the first time. And so by week 3, we were back down to about 70, and which was to be expected. But after we hit 70, we just began to climb. Yeah. And we basically, in a year's time, we climbed back up to about 150. So, you know, 154 down to 70. Then over the course of the year, we built back up to in that 100, 140, 150 place. And man, people, you know, there's families that begin to come, like Catherine, Tom, you know, the
Townsends.
the Catherine and Shane.
Okay.
Thomas Hunt that are up at North now. Bethany Warner came at that Easter. Later that summer, River City shuts its doors, and Andrew McKnight, as the elder, leads a good number of them, about 20 people, to come over and join what we were doing. Ken and Ashley Stratton were another part of that. Cody and Carrie Small, they came in. And they just came in and caught their breath, and they didn't come into roles of service. Andrew stepped down as an elder. They just came under to be shepherded, and then, you know, you can't keep good men down long, you know, and they all jumped in, and they became like a huge part of Overland. And Andrew then eventually becomes an elder, and one that's, man, leading so well today, such a beautiful part. So they brought a lot of momentum to the table in 2019. So 2020, we're announcing that we're going to 2 services. Yeah. We're going from 1 to 2. The Sunday,
2020.
The Sunday that we were supposed to go to 2 services, we didn't have church because of COVID.
Yeah.
And of course, we were down a number of Sundays. You know, there'd never been a service that we hadn't live streamed, so it wasn't like hard to get it all together.
Right.
Worship was a little funky, but we did it.
Yeah.
And then when we came back to 2 services because we had to.
Oh, that's
had to social distance, right?
Okay. Yeah, I got
right.
you.
We had to, and we were. I think our first Sunday back, we were about 70.
Okay.
And we quickly climbed over the summer back up into the 140s.
Yeah.
And so,
how long was it that you weren't allowed to have any services?
Like 40 days. I forget.
Okay.
I forget what it was. I forget what it might have been more than that. But
right.
no,
40 days to stop the curve.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't 40 days. It was longer than that because it was 40 days after Easter because it was basically Pentecost Sunday. Would have been our first Sunday back. But
okay.
Here's the reality for COVID. COVID was really good for our church. We served the community really, really well. We had drive-through food distributions. We were helping with counseling. We were like small enough that no one on the city level was looking to go, what are they doing?
Yeah.
We were young enough that there wasn't, the oldest person was like 45.
Yeah.
Right? They were all healthy. There wasn't the same concerns that a lot of pastors had. We had a lot of college students. They were together anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So it wasn't that hard for us to navigate. We were more like it's the difference we were like a warship versus a cruise ship. Mm-hmm. We were able to turn and make changes, and it was fine. And the Lord gave us a lot of favor in it. And just, from there, from 2020 up until the time we sent out north, we worked up, in 3 services, we keep working up to about 500. Mm-hmm. It's really hard for us to hit that number. So we just get stuck in the 4s somewhere. We fill up, and it kind of drives people away. Fill up, and so not the 8 a.m. There's plenty of room in the 8 a.m.
Come to 8 a.m. in August
when
we start back.
It's just been incredible.
Yeah.
To see, and then obviously, I think probably close to 150 baptisms in that time frame.
Yeah.
We send out Overland Durango.
Yeah. What year was that you sent out Durango?
Let me see. We sent them out in the spring of 23.
Okay.
They launched the spring of 24. They were on the year. There were 29 people that once worshiped at Overland Fort Collins that were worshiping
How
there.
long of a process was that in discerning and sending out Buddy? I mean, it's his own story, but it's part of the story of Midtown too. So
summer of 22.
Okay.
Really kind of got there the summer of 2022.
Yeah.
To send them out in the spring of 23. Brandon smoked them. Brandon and Maddie were way faster.
Yeah.
But they obviously weren't.
But they weren't moving across the state.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So not counting small children, counting their kids and teenagers, like the Samson is part of the planning team. It was in the 20s.
Yeah.
That went to plant there, and then of course we just sent out north with 70.
Looking back at sending out Overland Durango, how big a piece of the culture and history of
Huge.
Overland do you think that was?
So, man, maybe one of the most important things that happened to Overland was that when we sent out Buddy, our college/associate pastor, Josh Wisder, our worship leader, and Buckley Hancock, our kids director. Boom, right there, major leadership. And if you were to look in sending out those 30 people, there's never, like on the graph, there's not even a dip in our attendance. It just goes up.
Yeah.
But what we lost was a lot of leaders.
Yep.
And out of that came the servant leadership cohort. We already had the pipeline. Buddy and our team at the time, Brandon was a part of that. Buckley was a part of that. Really worked to build the pipeline and the structure the way it is.
Yeah.
But the servant leadership cohort became how we backfilled all those leadership positions to go, hey, never again.
Yeah.
So from that point going, never again will we send a church planting team that doesn't have all these people trained.
Yeah.
Right? We were able to send north this time with leaders.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
we were able to backfill on our end.
Yeah. When you were sending out Buddy, were there any voices inside or outside the church, especially in like the church planting world, where they think they know it all, like saying to you, "Hey, you've just gotten to a point where you are really steady. You shouldn't do this."
Yeah, there definitely were folks. Not in the church planting world necessarily, but I mean everybody realized what it meant for me to send Buddy.
Yeah.
One, you're sending your best friend. Two, you're sending like a very big charismatic personality.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's gonna make a great church planter.
Yes.
And obviously same thing with Brandon. Like people get comfortable. They get comfortable the way that things are, and they go, but this is going to change things.
Yeah.
And I'm going, yeah, it is, and it's going to be awesome for the kingdom of God, and it's a chance for And I look at us leaving the very same way.
Yeah.
Man, I've already seen so much fruit of me leaving, and I'm not even gone yet. So, just the number of people that are stepping up to go, I want to help. We're in. The number of people that go, hey, we're in. I've got people going that we're in. We need to join the church. That I'm like, you haven't. You've been here 3 years and hadn't joined the church, and I'm leaving, and you want to join? Yes. Maybe that's about me. I don't know what it is, but I just they're so encouraging. Like I believe the best is yet to come for Overland. The Lord has, and Andrew McKnight has brought this up over and over and over. The Lord has done so much for Overland and gone before Overland and fought for the people of Overland. Amen. What would make us think that by you leaving, it's going to stop? Yeah, I don't think it's going to stop. Yeah. I think the Lord's going to continue to do it. So, let me tell you one last story.
Okay,
where the name Overland Church came from.
Yes,
and you may be hoping this is going to be a spiritual story. It's not spiritual at all.
Okay.
Sitting in Buddy's house.
Yes.
In Kentucky. And we're like, what are we going to call this thing? And I'm like, well, there's a few strategies here. Seth York, Dr. York's son, was with us in it as well. He was sitting there having the conversation with us.
He's a creative guy.
He
did the logo.
He did the logo. He created the logo. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
And he's a creative. He's a brilliant guy. And I just pitched the idea. We were throwing out some church names. I said, what do you guys think about Overland Church? Buddy's like, Overland Church? Overland Church. And he goes, why? And I said, well, if you read the history of Fort Collins, Fort Collins became Fort Collins because of the Overland Trail. It's going across, and it was going north of here, and there was a military camp here called Camp Collins. Yeah. And because of Native American attacks on the Overland Trail, they rerouted it down to here for a time, and Camp Collins became Fort Collins because of the Overland Trail. So it was like it's the genesis of the town itself, and it is very confusing that the church is not on Overland Trail.
That's right, which is actual road
still here. Yeah. But I was like, so I said, so there's that, and I was like, and how does the gospel travel across the West? And Buddy goes, Overland. I was like, boom! And we all agreed on it. And Seth went and came up with a logo. Yeah, and
which resembles the Colorado Sea on the flag and everything.
And then we went with like sort of not knowing at the time, but kind of like Bronco friendly colors. Yeah. So that's how it got its name.
I think that's spiritual. I think there's history to it. There's an ambition in it that just as these pioneers went out across this trail across the West, that's what we're wanting to do here is send out pioneering planters and
it's pretty cool. So I'll tell you like the one last thing. Buckrun's mission statement was, we glorify God by proclaiming Jesus Christ. Yeah. And they had three things, three values: proclaim, disciple, serve.
Yeah.
And when we moved out, we wanted to honor Buck Run, and we kept it, and we added multiply.
Yeah.
And by God's grace, I think that is what we have done as a church. We've proclaimed the gospel. We've made disciples. We've got people who serve, and we've multiplied.
Amen. Amen. Well, brother, I just want to say, that it's been a lot of fun doing this podcast with you, and neither of us are going to cry right now. We're going to not do that. But you are loved. You're going to be missed. But the world's a small place, and you're still going to be part of our lives and part of the story of Overland, I'm sure, in new, different ways as we see what the Lord does.
As much as you'll let me.
Yeah.
So love to be here.
Yeah, and the Lord is good, and the church is going to be fine without you, because the head of the church is Jesus Christ, and
not the Pope.
That's right. That's right. Not the Pope, like in our last episode.
That's right. The head of the church is Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I'm just thankful for you. I'm thankful that you brought me here and let me be a part of the story of this church. It's just an incredible blessing that, this is, I came here because of you, and now this church is home to me, and it's family to me. And I really hope, the Lord can do anything with my life, but I really hope that I get to spend a long majority of it here in this city with this church. So
glory be to God.
Yeah. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Well, this is our last episode, and together. Yep.
Podcast is going to take a pause.
Yes. Yeah.
And we'll see what future iterations you bring to the table.
That's right.
In the future. Obviously, I would just tell you, church, pray for Josh. He's got a lot on his plate as he's taken over as the director of Gateway Seminary and associate professor of New Testament there. Yes. That is huge. You're going to kill that. That is an incredible job. But also in leading the church as the interim pastor and leading and shepherding the church and shepherding his family. And so, probably once he gets one of those hats off a little bit, he'll be able to bring it back, and with the new pastor, they can make with it what they will.
For sure. Yep, we're going to take the summer off. Maybe in August or September we'll come out with a new version of Wisdom for the Wilderness. But thanks everyone for listening, and may God bless you. And for those of you here or elsewhere, please continue to pray for Overland Church and for the Thurman family as they transition to Florida. May God bless you and keep you.